Hi everybody, this is AJ speaking. This is part 4 of my Tesla 4Q 2024 financial review. In this part we will be diving into the energy business of Tesla. On this first slide we start with total revenue development, and you can see that Tesla's energy business was kind of the star in the last, let's call it 2 years. This year energy grew to just over 10 billion in revenue, growing 67% year on year. Growing from 6 billion to over 10, as I just said, and last year the business already grew 54%, and the year before that 40%. So very fast growing business, despite the fact that the solar business, which is part of the energy generation and storage revenue, has seen some declines. But growth in the energy storage business more than made up for the decrease in the solar business. Then in 4Q, Tesla delivered an all-time high energy storage revenue of 2.865 billion, which then also pushed the entire segment to a new all-time high of 3.061 billion. This implies 113% year-on-year growth rate, or a sequential increase of 29%. And here we make sort of the first important observation. You can see that Tesla's energy business is exposed to significant sequential fluctuation. This is driven by the fact that these large energy storage businesses being accounted for under different kind of accounting rules compared to vehicles sales or similar. Something called project accounting typically applies, and project accounting makes revenue recognition contingent upon achievement of certain milestones. And in these large energy projects, often a energy plant getting final seal of approval from the regulator locally in whatever country Tesla installs these large megapacks is often a key critical milestone, and that's why between a megapack coming out of the factory and a Tesla to that megapack's revenue hitting Tesla's financial statements, there can be sometimes several quarters, and then also because these are chunky large energy projects, whether or not one or two of these large projects makes it on time to be recognized within a quarter or not can often cause significant volatility, and this is what you see exactly in these numbers. Gladly, the CFO typically gives us a steer on the earnings call how things are trending. For example, he signaled in 2Q that there would be a sequential fluctuation, and there was a clear steer that deployments would come down. He was very bullish on full year guidance in 3Q. That gave us a clear steer for the fourth quarter, and on the fourth quarter call he also gave us for attentive listeners, also relatively clear guidance that 1Q will most likely see more fluctuation, meaning the first quarter of 2025 will most likely be below the fourth quarter of 2024, again because of sequential fluctuation. Many of you will know that Tesla just finalized the new Megapack factory in Shanghai. However, revenue impact of that factory I expect to be 0 in 1Q 2025, and the reason is simply because of what I already mentioned. From the point a Megapack is completed in the factory till revenue recognition is long periods of times, and Tesla will also ship from Shanghai, adding several more weeks to revenue recognition. So bottom line is there will probably be no revenue contribution in 1Q. However, in 2Q 2025 we'll likely see first revenue contribution from Shanghai already. Then when we look at one of the two key drivers of energy storage revenue generation, it's deployments. Deployments is the term Tesla uses for basically broad online storage capacity that meets all the requirements for revenue recognition. And we can see that in the fourth quarter Tesla delivered an all-time high of 11 gigawatt hours. That's a monstrous increase of 244% compared to the fourth quarter of 2023. It's still a shocking increase of 59% sequentially. and and also in terms of absolute numbers, 4.1 gigawatt hour increase from the third quarter, and that left Tesla with 31.4 gigawatt hours installed in 2024, and that also implied a 113% year-on-year growth rate. That comes after 125% growth rate in 2023. So there's a modest amount of slowdown. However, we need to recognize this is already on a quite substantial scale. This is now over $10 billion business annually, and you cannot expect triple-digit percentage points growth rate for a very long time at this significant scale. In terms of guidance, and I will talk about this in my upcoming 1Q 2025 forecast, but also that there will also be a 2025 forecast and likely further out forecast for Tesla. And Tesla said in 2025 they expect at least 50% year-on-year growth rate. This would get us well over 45 gigawatt hours installed in 2024, which would be more than triple what it was in 2023. Then we get to the second most important or equivalently important driver of energy storage revenue, which is the average kilowatt price charged by Tesla, and the number that we can work out. And there's one little caveat here. When Tesla sells these large energy projects, there's some element of deferred revenue. There's something we have to take into consideration. However, it's by far not as significant as most people assume, or what I've seen on X. And I talked about this previously in more detail, and so I will not cover it here because it would get too long. But the bottom line is what we can already see is that the quite high $317 price per kilowatt came down significantly in the fourth quarter. You would expect this number to come down because Tesla obviously generates efficiencies. Raw material prices are still quite supportive, and lower lithium prices are still coming through to some degree in Tesla's cost structure. But the big elephant in the room, and that one that you have to keep on the radar, is there's just like in the automotive business, there's significant Chinese competition pushing into global energy storage market, and there's a lot of research available on this matter. And for example, some Chinese competitors, they offer kilowatt prices that are below $100. So big picture, in many non-North American and probably non-European markets, Tesla faces really tough competition. Tesla probably still has a software advantage. Software is an important component, but the Chinese have demonstrated a significant ability to quickly catch up with what Tesla delivers. We have to recognize that. So the Asian market is therefore, let's say, under attack. The European and North American market, they might be more shielded due to tariffs and also due to security concerns. For this reason, Tesla, despite the let's call it headline price disadvantage right now, probably still has significant room to grow despite its growing competition. On top of that, what you have to keep in mind is now that Tesla has the Shanghai Megapack factory, Tesla has the same access as the Chinese competitors to the super low-cost Chinese supply chain, and therefore I expect this average kilowatt price number that you see here in 4Q of $260 to rapidly come down as the dilutive effects of the Shanghai Megapack factory take effect. So get ready for this to drop very quickly. So this gets us to the end of the revenue discussion of the energy segment. In the next part 5, we'll be discussing the revenue developments in Tesla's third large segment, which is services and other. So see you in the next one.